Ever wonder what happens when the stars don't align during celebrity interviews? Today, we dive into those rare, unforgettable moments where the rich and famous showed their human side, sometimes a bit too human. Like when Hollywood's beloved Robert Downey Jr. walked out mid-interview when the topic shifted to his troubled past.
Or whether that's still something.
I'm sorry, I really don't. What are we doing?
Well, I'm just asking questions, that's all.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you guys.
are you... I'm sorry.
The conversation had started pleasantly enough as a campaign for Downey's latest movie, Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Iron Man is such a different superhero, though, isn't he? In that he's self-made,
Sure.
he's arrogant in a very appealing way.
Right.
Was that what you brought to it, or was that there?
It was always inherent in the comics. And, you know, Stan Lee, back in the 60s, it was really kind of a Vietnam era sort of fabrication, you know, and he was under pressure to keep...
But things took a turn when the interviewer decided to question Downey's past struggles with drugs.
Interview. I mean, promoting the movie. I mean, obviously you're doing a promotional round of interviews, and that's why we're talking about the movie. But we also would like to talk a little bit about you, and I don't know how comfortable you are, you know, talking about yourself at the moment.
You have as much time as anyone else will.
Yeah, well, okay, well then let me just ask you a few more questions and you can answer them if you want to and not if you don't want to. I mean,
So only got this much left anyway.
well, I think we've got 3 more minutes on our agreement.
Your foot's starting to jump a little bit. You better get to your next question.
And in spite of Downey's obvious displeasure, the questions persisted.
The reason I'm asking about the past is that you've talked in other interviews again about your relationship with your father and the role of all of that in, you know, the dark periods you entered and taking drugs and drinking and all of that. And I just wondered whether, you know, you think you're free of all of that?
It was at this point that Downey thought it best to do what he did next.
Or whether that's still something
I'm sorry,
you...
I really don't. What are we doing?
well, I'm just asking questions, that's all.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you guys.
are you... I'm sorry.
Take your mic.
It's okay.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you.
Do you...
You seem okay. It's just getting a little dinosaur in your...
No, look, I don't want to do that.
Thank you.
In Downey's defense, however, this was not the first time a celebrity had been unhappy with interviewer Guru Murthy's line of questioning. In 2013, filmmaker Quentin Tarantino refused to discuss the violence in his film Django Unchained, famously telling him, "I'm shutting your butt down." I know he pulled the same garbage on Tarantino, and Tarantino stayed in his chair and lit him up for 5 minutes, Downey had said of that 2013 encounter. Clearly, he opted for the exit strategy rather than the Tarantino approach. And when asked about the interview, the actor suggested his interviewer had a creepy, dark agenda. In response, Guru Murthy himself insisted he had no particular agenda, mentioning that Downey Jr.'s PR team had been informed beforehand about the topics, including the actor's recovery from jail and drug abuse that would be discussed. However, the movie star said he needed to, quote, "distance myself from this clown, otherwise I'm probably going to put hands on somebody, and then there's a real story," unquote. But unlike Downey, who opted for a more diplomatic approach, heavyweight champion Mike Tyson chose to school his own interviewer the hard way.
It's more nerve-wracking for me to hear talking to a rat piece of shit like you.
Come on, Mike.
No, because you're a piece of shit.
All right,
You really have to
we're gonna wrap up this interview. Thank you for coming in.
Fuck you.
The live interview, which was a promotion attempt of the show Mike Tyson Undisputed Truth, had gone south after the TV host, Nathan Downer, brought up the former heavyweight champion's conviction for sexual assault.
Now, some of your critics would say, you know, there's a race for mayor. We know you're a convicted rapist. This could hurt his campaign. How would you respond to that?
Tyson, clearly unappreciative of the change in subject, decided to confront the situation head-on.
Hey, I don't know who said that. You're the only one I heard say that. You know what I mean? And I don't have no comment to that, you know, because it's negative and you're being negative. And I met the mayor, right, and nothing they can do about it. Right?
Every attempt by Downey to pacify an already angered Tyson only infuriated him the more.
Great man with whom Mike spent quite a bit of time yesterday talking about his
Life, highs and lows.
It's so interesting because you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit.
Hey,
with that
come
comment.
on.
No, that was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit.
You know, we're doing live TV now.
When the host tried to steer the conversation towards Tyson's one-man show, Mike Tyson Undisputed Truth, the champion replied,
It speaks for itself. Everyone saw the show.
All right, it's a Broadway production. It went to Vegas. It went to actually 28 cities in the United States. And we're really, really proud to bring it here. And we're actually going to Monaco on October 9th. We're going to be in Monte Carlo. Right.
Later, when asked if he found performing on stage or boxing more nerve-wracking, Tyson responds that it was more nerve-wracking appearing on the news show before taking another jab at Downer.
Is it nerve-wracking for you to do something like this, or is it more nervous for you to box? How does it compare?
I don't know. It's more nerve-wracking for me to hear us talking to a rat piece of shit like you.
Come on, Mike.
After the incident, Downer took to Twitter to address the fallout. He said it was unfortunate that his question hurt Tyson's feelings and that wasn't his intention. "I'm okay, everybody," he tweeted before apologizing and following up with another tweet. "No ill will towards Mike Tyson. He lashed out at me, and that's okay. Not taking it personally." However, a more explosive reaction came from Max Verstappen, who lashed out at media questions over the incident, which ended his Silverstone race. While at his Mercedes title rival, Lewis Hamilton sat next to him. A reporter had asked how they both would behave on track if they went wheel to wheel once more in this latest leg of a compelling season.
Now, I've got a question for both you and Lewis now. There's been a lot of talk about what happened on the opening lap at Silverstone. If you two end up wheel to wheel after the start tomorrow...
Now, can we just already stop about this? Because we had so many questions about this. It's just ridiculous, honestly. Honestly, the whole Thursday, we've been answering this all the time. So can we just stop about it, please?
When the same question was posed to Hamilton, he had little to add to Verstappen's outburst.
We are racers, we will race. And of course, we're going to race hard, but fair. So we just keep pushing each other.
Lewis, anything from you? Okay.
While Verstappen had no tolerance for questions hurled at his ego, Candace Owens proved to be a better fighter.
So I'm really interested in your perspective here. Yeah. So to you having, like, you don't look at, you know, it is an administration that has more white men than past administrations have had.
Yeah,
but that doesn't bother you. You don't think that diversity is important?
No, not at all. I think that we have to stop believing that diversity is the color of people's skin, because if you have, like, the Black Caucus, for example, which didn't stand up and applaud when Trump announced that we had the lowest ever unemployment in the black community, that's concerning to me. So a big part of the conversation that we open is in making people understand that that's an illusion that the left has sold, that somehow because somebody matches my skin color, because somebody matches my gender, they have my best interests at heart, and that is completely fallacious.
Owens, at the time, was working to bring a group of young black conservatives to the White House to meet with the president. But Crystal Ball thought that bringing up a controversial tweet from Owens could derail Owens' agenda. In the tweet, Owens had stated, "The Democrat Party is comprised of racist white liberals who use minorities to advance themselves both politically and professionally. Senator Warren's false claim to Cherokee heritage serves as a reminder of their poignantly racist exploitations." Hashtag Trump 2020 landslide. When Balls tried to escalate the argument by implying she had been called racist by the commentator, Owens gave a befitting response.
I just want to be clear.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear.
I'm trying to be extremely clear with you.
I know.
Bringing the black conservatives to the White House.
You view me as a racist white
I think
liberal.
that you're not. First off, you put those words in my mouth, and you keep saying it. So I'm not.
Tweeted it.
I said that the Democrat Party is comprised of racist white liberals. Is every person in the party racist? No, but you're not aware of the fact that you put these racist tones out into the media. This is why we have to bring the black conservatives to the president, because you create a narrative when you're on TV like you did today.
Are you
comfortable with
I'm
the
going
fact
to have you on radio later because I have questions for you as well. But we actually have to get out of the segment now.
Do you think that language is helpful, though? I mean, just in terms of the national conversation.
Well, I could ask you, do you think it's helpful to ask me, just because I'm a black woman, if I'm comfortable with the amount of color that's on the administration? Do you think that that's helpful?
I think it's helpful and interesting to know your perspective.
It's not. It's you just trying to create an undertone that Donald Trump is racist, and it's wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
That to me is the reason why.
Listen, no.
I just want to say,
you're looking at me on the basis of my skin color and making a bunch of, making a bunch of deductions.
I
did not. You said that, and we can run the tape back.
I want to say, look, here's what I want to say.
You quoted a tweet, and then you made it about me.
I appreciate.
You were not added, but you were not added in that tweet. So do not say that I called you that, because that's dishonest. And we are on, on TV. So you can run.
Racist.
Okay, so I did not call you a racist. You're using the typical leftist tactic of trying to make yourself a victim, which is not what I want to say.
No, but we were actually well beyond time.
Well, she's making herself a victim and pretending that I came here and called her a racist. So this is a typical leftist tactic.
That we not demonize our opponents.
And I think it's important that you not demonize my president.
And one thing that I try very hard to do is to criticize the policies and criticize people who are in positions of power.
And I'm not sure how you were doing that by pointing out the color in the administration.
But not to criticize the people who support the
president. You literally spoke about
something I try very hard to do.
But you're not doing a very good job of it.
And I think it's really important.
I think it's really important that you be aware that just because I'm a black woman, you don't need to ask me a question as basic enough as saying how much color is in the administration.
It's a problem to demonize our fellow Americans?
I think what's problematic is that you are creating a simulation that is dishonest, that is accusing our president of being racist based off of the color of the people that are in the... That's exactly what you asked me a question. That's what you implied.
Okay, I actually really appreciate you two coming in very much. And I look forward to getting to ask you some questions of my own at some point later on. And we're going to have to end the segment there. But thank you, and good luck at the White House today. And thank you for bringing young African-American leaders into D.C.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll see you guys later on.
While we can only hope that both Candace and Balls have mended their relationship since then, we can never forget the moment when Anne Hathaway brain slammed Matt Lauer on the set of The Today Show. Hathaway had revealed at the start of her NBC interview with Matt Lauer that she would have rather been at home, but had to promote her film Les Miserables.
Hathaway, good morning. Nice to see you.
Morning, Matt.
Seen a lot of you lately.
Sorry about that.
You were.
I'd be happy to stay home, but the film.
The interview took an awkward turn right from the start. Lauer began with, "Nice to see you. Seen a lot of you lately," referring to an unfortunate candid photo of Hathaway taken just before the interview.
Let's just get it out of the way. You had a little wardrobe malfunction the other night. What's the lesson learned from something like that, other than that you keep smiling, which you always do?
Well, it was obviously an unfortunate incident.
Yeah.
I think it kind of made me sad on two accounts. One was that I was very sad that we live in an age when someone takes a picture of another person in a vulnerable moment and rather than delete it and do the decent thing, sells it. And I'm sorry that we live in a culture that commodifies sexuality of unwilling participants, which brings us back to Les Mis, because that's what my character is. She is someone who is forced to sell sex to benefit her child because she has nothing and there's no social safety net. And so let's get back to Les Mis.
One of the most creative turns of a question I have ever heard.
Despite the uncomfortable start, Hathaway handled the situation with grace. She smoothly redirected the conversation back to the film. After the interview made headlines, one fan wrote, "She shut him down and circled back to the subject at hand in the most elegant and professional way possible. Queen." Another popular comment read, "That was one of the most graceful conversation transitions that I have ever heard. I'm not even that much of an Anne fan, but that elegantly, politely, and diplomatically put an end to his crap whilst returning to the purpose of the interview. Well done, Mrs. Hathaway." Yikes. Now, everyone knows controversial TV host Ellen DeGeneres for occasionally putting her guests in uncomfortable situations. However, few have managed to turn the tables on her like actress Dakota Johnson did. During the show, DeGeneres had said Dakota Johnson didn't invite her to her birthday, probably in a bid to humiliate Johnson. However, this move turned out to be a big mistake, as the interview only snowballed straight into the annals of epic awkwardness. It was later revealed, off camera, that someone from the show had confirmed that Johnson actually told the truth. Actor Matthew McConaughey would similarly lose his cool, shutting up Joy Behar after she calls him, quote, anti-gun, unquote.
Do you think you could get elected in Texas being anti-gun?
Do I think I could get elected in Texas being anti-gun? One thing about if me in politics is to give you a direct statement right there is me playing a game that I'm not interested in playing.
Okay.
To give you a direct statement right there.
McConaughey, who is usually regarded as one of Hollywood's coolest, rarely ever gets into arguments. However, there are a couple of things that could get him fired up, one of those things being politics. And a political jab from the ever-disrespectful Joy Behar certainly worth a stern warning.
And you're a Texan, and you spoke so passionately at the White House last year in the wake of that shooting at Robb Elementary in your hometown of
That's why we're wearing these little pens, right?
And now you have launched the Green Lights Grant Initiative to help make schools safer.
Yes.
Please tell us about that.
Thank you for the opportunity to. So what we found out after what happened at Robb Elementary and many other schools, the first bill was passed in 30 years to help make schools safer, Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, billions of dollars to safe in schools. What I find out months after the bill's been passed is that very few applications are going in from the school districts. And for those that are applying, very few are getting granted and awarded. So the money's still there. And we're like, wait, where's the gap? Well, we found out that these superintendents have to fill out these grants to the government. A lot of them are driving the school bus and they're the PE teacher, and this grant process is 50 pages and it's intimidating.
Wow.
And I don't know about y'all, but I have trouble making it through filling a custom card out without having to scratch stuff out. It is intimidating, so they don't have the expertise at the time. The government wants these grants to be filed. They want to spend the money. It's use it or lose it money. And if we don't spend that money that the government has by 2026, it could be reallocated.
McConaughey, a gun owner himself, had appeared on The View to promote his new children's book, Just Because, which he said came to him in a dream. If Behar hadn't asked a rather offensive question, we probably would have never seen him lose his composure.
Do I think I could get elected in Texas being anti-gun? One thing about if me in politics is to give you a direct statement right there is me playing a game that I'm not interested in playing.
Okay,
to give you a direct statement right there.
Speaking of disrespectful interviewers, reporters often push the boundaries, especially when it comes to celebrities and their bodies. Like when a reporter asked Jonah Hill what the inspiration behind his weight loss was.
And changing of your physique. I mean, you look great. Everybody wants to know what made you make the change.
I just decided one day I wanted to be healthier, and I went and saw a nutritionist, and that's what I did. Stuck to it.
But are you still considered the fat guy when you go to a party or anything? Because I run into that a whole lot. I'm the fat one. Okay. So are you the fat guy in Hollywood still, or is everybody like look at you and they're like, oh wow, this is great, now you're healthy?
Do you have any other questions that are smart?
While the question made some in the room laugh, Hill was clearly not impressed. Jonah Hill proving he has the patience of a saint, one fan said. However, in what is probably the most popular interview in this video, infamous journalist Krishan Guru Murthy asked Quentin Tarantino about why he thinks that real-life violence and enjoyment of violence in movies are not connected.
You have a responsibility as a filmmaker, surely, to explain a little bit about
No,
what
I
you're
don't
doing.
have any responsibility to you to explain anything I don't want to.
No, not to me, but to your viewers, to your fans, to people who
They know
care about what it is that you're doing.
They know where I'm coming from. And I have explained it.
While some fans thought that Tarantino's response struck them as bizarre, considering his typically vocal stance on such issues, others, however, maintained that Guru Murthy came across as a bit too opinionated in his posing of.
You must care very deeply that this doesn't become, a film that stands out from the rest of your body of work as one that is, trashed by more people or anything like that.
It's not trashed by more people.
Following the interview, Guru Murthy tweeted that Tarantino had, quote, slightly lost it, unquote. Oops.